For decades, Germany has been home to one of the greatest automotive rivalries in history. Three legendary brands, three completely different philosophies, one shared obsession: building the ultimate performance car. On one side stood BMW, a company famous for creating machines that delivered razor-sharp handling and pure driving pleasure. Its legendary M division transformed ordinary sedans into track-ready weapons, earning the nickname the ultimate driving machine. On another stood Audi. With its revolutionary Quattro all-wheel drive system, Audi proved that incredible performance wasn't limited to dry racetracks. The RS lineup combined luxury, technology, and confidence at astonishing speeds. And then there was Mercedes-Benz. For decades, Mercedes had been known for elegance, comfort, and engineering excellence. Its cars transported presidents, royalty, and business leaders around the world. But among enthusiasts, one question kept appearing. Could Mercedes build a car that could truly challenge BMW M and Audi RS on the racetrack? During the 1980s and 1990s, BMW continued dominating performance headlines. Audi expanded its reputation through motorsport success. Mercedes built fast luxury cars, but many critics believed they lacked the aggressive personality of their rivals. That criticism didn't go unnoticed. Deep inside Mercedes, engineers began asking themselves a different question. What if luxury wasn't enough? What if Mercedes could create a machine with the comfort expected from the brand, but the soul of a race car? The answer wouldn't come from Mercedes alone. It would come from a small engineering company that had already built a reputation for making Mercedes models dramatically faster. A company known by just three letters: AMG. What began as a small independent tuning workshop would eventually grow into one of the most respected performance divisions in the automotive world. Together, Mercedes and AMG wouldn't just compete with BMW and Audi. They would redefine what a German performance car could be. The battle was about to become much more than horsepower. It would become a fight for engineering supremacy. And it all started with two engineers who refused to accept the ordinary. In the next chapter, we'll discover how two former Mercedes engineers founded AMG in a tiny workshop and unknowingly changed automotive history forever. Every legend has a beginning. For AMG, it didn't start inside a billion-dollar headquarters. It started in a small workshop with two men who refused to believe that Mercedes-Benz had reached its full potential. Their names were Hans Werner Aufrecht and Erhard Melcher. Both were talented engineers who had worked on Mercedes-Benz racing engines during the 1960s. When Mercedes stepped back from factory motorsport programs, many of those ambitious projects came to an abrupt end. But Aufrecht and Melcher weren't ready to stop. Instead of giving up, they continued developing high-performance engines in their spare time. In 1967, they founded a small engineering company in Bergstall, Germany. The company's name was created from three simple elements: A for Aufrecht, M for Melcher, and G for Großaspach, the hometown of Hans Werner Aufrecht. Together, they formed a name that would become legendary: AMG. At first, AMG wasn't building complete cars. Customers brought their Mercedes vehicles to the workshop, where engines were rebuilt by hand. Every modification focused on one goal: more power, better performance. No compromises. Word spread quickly. Soon, AMG became known as the place where ordinary Mercedes models were transformed into machines capable of embarrassing dedicated sports cars. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 1971, AMG entered a heavily modified Mercedes-Benz 300 SEL 6.8 into the 24 Hours of Spa, one of Europe's toughest endurance races. Few believed the enormous luxury sedan had any chance. It was larger, heavier, and far less agile than the lightweight racing cars surrounding it. Spectators laughed. Rival teams dismissed it before the race had even begun. But when the checkered flag finally fell, the impossible had happened. The giant red Mercedes finished first in its class and second overall, stunning the motorsport world. Its aggressive appearance earned it a nickname that would become famous: the Red Pig. Overnight, AMG transformed from an unknown tuning company into an international sensation. Suddenly, Mercedes executives began paying close attention. The small workshop that had once operated on pure passion had proven it could compete with the biggest names in motorsport. And this was only the beginning, because the partnership between Mercedes-Benz and AMG would eventually produce some of the fastest, most powerful performance cars the world had ever seen. In the next chapter, we'll discover how decades of racing experience led to the creation of the AMG Black Series, a machine many consider the ultimate expression of Mercedes' performance. By the late 2010s, AMG had already earned a reputation for building some of the world's most powerful performance cars. But inside Mercedes-AMG headquarters in Falterbach, Germany, engineers wanted to create something extraordinary. Not another Grand Tourer, not another luxury coupe. They wanted to build the most extreme road car AMG had ever produced. The project became known as the Mercedes-AMG Black Series. From the beginning, the goal was clear. Every decision would prioritize performance. Comfort would come second. At the heart of the Black Series was a completely reworked version of AMG's famous 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8. Engineers introduced a flat-plane crankshaft, a design normally found in high-performance race cars and exotic supercars. The result was dramatic. The engine produced 720 horsepower and 590 pound-foot, 800 Newton-meters of torque. It could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 3 seconds before reaching a top speed of approximately 202 miles per hour. But AMG knew horsepower alone wasn't enough. To dominate the racetrack, the Black Series needed to master the air itself. The front splitter grew larger. The hood featured massive vents to extract hot air. Wide fenders improved airflow around the wheels. Underneath the car, a redesigned underbody and rear diffuser helped generate significant downforce. Then came the feature everyone noticed: the enormous adjustable rear wing. It wasn't just for appearance. Using motorsport-inspired technology, the wing could be adjusted to balance downforce and drag, depending on driving conditions. The chassis received the same obsessive attention. Lightweight carbon fiber replaced heavier materials throughout the body. The suspension became fully adjustable. Track-focused tires delivered astonishing grip. Even the transmission was strengthened to handle the engine's immense power. Every kilogram saved. Every aerodynamic improvement. Every engineering decision had one purpose: to make the AMG Black Series the fastest Mercedes-AMG ever built. When the prototype finally rolled onto the track, engineers immediately realized they had created something special. This wasn't simply another fast Mercedes. It was a machine capable of challenging Porsche's GT2 RS, Ferrari's finest track cars, and BMW's most aggressive M models. The battle for Nürburgring supremacy was about to begin, and the world was watching. In the next chapter, we'll witness the unforgettable lap that proved the AMG Black Series was more than just another powerful coupe. It was one of the fastest production cars ever to conquer the green hell. Breaking records isn't just about building a powerful engine. It's about making every single component work together in perfect harmony. That's exactly what Mercedes-AMG set out to achieve with the GT Black Series. Every detail, every curve, every bolt served one purpose: maximum performance. The first secret was aerodynamics. Unlike a conventional sports car, the Black Series was designed to generate enormous downforce, the invisible force that pushes a car onto the road as speed increases. At 200 miles per hour, downforce becomes just as important as horsepower. Without it, even the most powerful car would become unstable. Mercedes-AMG engineers spent hundreds of hours in wind tunnels, refining every surface. The massive front splitter directed airflow beneath the car. Large hood vents extracted hot air from the engine bay, while reducing front-end lift. Air curtains around the front wheels minimized turbulence. At the rear, the towering carbon fiber wing wasn't simply for appearance. It featured a manually adjustable upper blade and an electronically controlled flap. During hard braking, the flap acted like an air brake, increasing drag and helping the car slow down more efficiently. When accelerating, it returned to its performance position, balancing speed with stability. The underbody was equally impressive. A nearly flat floor worked with a large rear diffuser to accelerate airflow underneath the car, creating a powerful ground effect that improved grip through high-speed corners. Weight reduction became another obsession. The roof, hood, front fenders, rear hatch, and drive shaft all used lightweight carbon fiber. Even small components were redesigned to save precious kilograms. The result was a car that reacted instantly to every steering input. The suspension borrowed heavily from motorsport. Drivers could manually adjust ride height, camber, and anti-roll bars for different tracks and driving styles. This level of customization allowed owners to fine-tune the Black Series like a true GT race car. Even the braking system reflected AMG's uncompromising philosophy. Available carbon ceramic brakes provided incredible stopping power while resisting heat during repeated high-speed laps. Combined with specially developed Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires, the Black Series delivered astonishing grip and confidence. Every system, every innovation, every engineering decision had one goal: not just to build the fastest Mercedes, but to create a machine capable of competing with the very best performance cars in the world. And the result spoke for itself. The AMG Black Series wasn't simply another supercar. It became one of the greatest engineering achievements in Mercedes-AMG history. In the next chapter, we'll step inside the cockpit and discover what it's really like to drive one of the most extreme road cars Mercedes has ever built. Numbers can tell you how fast a car is, but they can never tell you how it feels. The moment you open the lightweight door of the AMG Black Series, you realize this isn't an ordinary Mercedes. The cabin is focused entirely on the driver. Deep carbon fiber racing seats hold you firmly in place. The steering wheel is wrapped in Alcantara for maximum grip. Every control is positioned with precision, inspired by motorsport rather than luxury sedans. Press the start button. The hand-built 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 comes to life. It doesn't whisper. It growls. A deep, aggressive rumble fills the cabin, reminding you that this engine was engineered with one goal: performance. Pull the right paddle. First gear engages instantly. Ease onto the throttle, and the Black Series feels surprisingly civilized. The steering is precise. The visibility is better than most mid-engine supercars. The transmission shifts smoothly through city traffic. For a moment, it almost feels like a grand tourer, but that illusion disappears the instant you press the accelerator. The twin turbochargers respond with explosive force. The rear tires dig into the pavement. The V8 roars toward redline. Every gear change arrives with a sharp mechanical crack from the exhaust. The acceleration is relentless. The car doesn't simply gain speed. It launches forward with astonishing urgency. Approaching a corner, you press the carbon ceramic brakes. The stopping power is immediate and confidence-inspiring. Turn the steering wheel. The front end reacts instantly. There is almost no body roll. The suspension communicates every detail of the road surface. As you accelerate out of the corner, the active aerodynamics and advanced chassis work together to keep the car perfectly balanced. This is where the Black Series feels truly alive. Not on city streets, not parked outside luxury hotels, but on a racetrack, where every element of its engineering comes together. And despite its incredible performance, Mercedes-AMG never forgot its heritage. The climate control still works flawlessly. The infotainment system remains modern and intuitive. Long-distance comfort is still possible. It's a rare combination. A car capable of setting world-class lap times, then driving home in complete comfort. Very few machines have ever achieved that balance. And perhaps that's what makes the AMG Black Series so remarkable. It isn't just a race car with license plates. It's a Mercedes that never forgot how to be a Mercedes. In the next chapter, we'll discover why collectors around the world are already treating the Black Series as one of the most desirable modern performance cars ever built. Most performance cars lose value the moment they leave the showroom. The AMG Black Series followed a different path. From the day it was unveiled, collectors knew this wasn't just another Mercedes. It represented the peak of an era, the final and most extreme evolution of the front-engine AMG GT. Every Black Series was hand-built in Falterbach, Germany, where AMG's famous philosophy comes to life. One man, one engine. Each engine was assembled by a single master technician, whose signature plaque was attached to the completed V8, a small detail that made every car feel personal. Production numbers were limited. Demand was enormous. Many buyers secured their cars long before the first deliveries began. As soon as the first examples reached customers, the market responded. Low-mileage Black Series models began attracting significant attention from collectors, with some selling for well above their original list price, especially rare specifications and highly optioned examples. But rarity alone doesn't create a legend. What truly separates the Black Series is its reputation. It isn't remembered only for its horsepower. It is remembered for proving that Mercedes-AMG could build a car capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with the world's greatest track-focused machines. It challenged Porsche. It earned respect from Ferrari enthusiasts. And it forced BMW's M division to acknowledge a new benchmark. Owners rarely describe the Black Series as simply a car. They describe it as an experience. A machine that feels alive. One that rewards skill, precision, and confidence every time it enters a corner. For collectors, that's priceless. Because cars like this are becoming increasingly rare. Modern performance vehicles are moving toward hybrid systems, electrification, and digital driving experiences. The Black Series represents one of the last great celebrations of a hand-built twin-turbocharged V8 without hybrid assistance. That alone gives it historical significance. Years from now, automotive historians may look back on this car as one of the defining performance machines of the early 21st century. Not because it sold in huge numbers, not because it was the most luxurious, but because it captured the spirit of AMG at its absolute peak. The spirit of fearless engineering, relentless performance, and uncompromising passion. In our final chapter, we'll discover the lasting legacy of the AMG Black Series and why it may be remembered as one of the greatest Mercedes performance cars ever built. Every generation creates a car that changes the way people think, not because it sells the most, not because it's the most comfortable, but because it proves that engineering has no limits. For Mercedes-AMG, that car is the AMG GT Black Series. It wasn't designed to be an ordinary grand tourer. It wasn't created to satisfy everyone. It was built for one purpose: to demonstrate everything AMG had learned from decades of racing, engineering, and relentless innovation. When it arrived, critics expected another powerful Mercedes. What they got was something entirely different. A machine capable of competing with the very best, from Porsche, Ferrari, McLaren, and BMW. It wasn't just quick in a straight line. It was fast everywhere, through high-speed corners, under heavy braking, on technical circuits where precision mattered more than raw horsepower. The Nürburgring became the perfect stage. There, the AMG Black Series proved it wasn't simply another luxury sports car. It was a genuine track weapon wearing a Mercedes badge. And in doing so, it changed perceptions around the world. People no longer saw AMG as a company that built only powerful engines. They saw a brand capable of creating complete performance machines. Cars engineered with the same obsession for balance, aerodynamics, and driver confidence as the greatest supercars on Earth. But perhaps its greatest achievement wasn't measured in lap times. It inspired the next generation of engineers. It showed that bold ideas, careful craftsmanship, and relentless testing could still produce something extraordinary in an era increasingly shaped by automation and electrification. Today, the automotive world is changing faster than ever. Electric hypercars deliver astonishing acceleration. Hybrid technology dominates motorsport. Software plays a bigger role than ever before. Yet the AMG Black Series remains a reminder of a special moment in automotive history. A time when a hand-built twin-turbocharged V8, advanced aerodynamics, and pure mechanical engineering came together to create something unforgettable. Years from now, collectors will admire it, drivers will dream about it, and historians will remember it, not simply as one of Mercedes-AMG's greatest cars, but as one of the defining performance cars of its generation. Because true legends aren't remembered for the badges they wear. They're remembered for the boundaries they break. The AMG Black Series didn't just compete with BMW and Audi. It proved that Mercedes-AMG belonged among the greatest performance manufacturers in the world. And that's a legacy that will endure for decades to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the story of the Mercedes that outsmarted BMW and Audi. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments.